Hey, Sean, what's happening, my man?
Hey, what's up, Rich? Hey, that was a
Nice.
great football game last night. Despite on which side you had, I just thought it was a great game in general.
I don't know about that. I feel like that a couple different things about that game that bothered me a little bit. One, Lamar, if you can't throw the ball, which is, what the better teams try to make you do, if you're going to run the ball, then ball safety has to be your number one concern. Because if you're going to fumble the ball away and you're not the most accurate passer, then if you turn your strength into a weakness, it's going to be very difficult to have you on the field, young man. Secondly, I feel like I said yesterday, the better of the Harbaughs coached that game. I feel like the better of the Harbaughs blew that game last night because you have a chance, and I really don't understand why teams do this. You have a minute and 2 minutes left to go in the game. You're a first down away from icing the game, or at least giving yourself a chance to kick a field goal with no time left, right? Or to expire the clock. And what do? You do the absolute most obvious things you can do. Run. And then on top of that, I feel like the kid Tyson Williamson, whatever his name is.
Tyson Williams.
Mm-hmm. He was far more explosive. I was watching Latavius Murray run. And it looked like he was going in slow motion, even when they were going at full speed. They had to speed up the tape to make him look like he was running at the same pace as everybody else. And maybe the kid Williamson doesn't know how to block yet and pick up the blitzes and stuff like that. But clearly, Baltimore was he was far more explosive with him in the game than with him out of the game. And I just can't understand for the life of me why coaches, when you have a chance to put your foot on someone's throat, once you're in field goal range, go for that field goal, right? Go for the touchdown. Try, because you go up 7 with 45 seconds to go. It's a lot different than up 3, and especially nowadays indoors, the field goal kickers range is extended. Why? I just can never understand for the life why they play it so cautiously.
Well, with Baltimore, and to the point, they didn't even need to get a touchdown. They get a first down, they can run the clock out, and Justin Tucker is the money. Justin Tucker is the one kicker you can do that with, and you're going to win the game. But all the pressure is on the defense. So all you got to do is get a first down, run that down to 2 seconds, and the worst thing you do is go to overtime. But 98% of the time, Justin Tucker's going to make that kick and win the game. There shouldn't have been 30-some seconds left on the game, especially with a mobile quarterback like that. All the pressure is on the defense. You can call anything, but it looked like they weren't even trying for the first down, and that's the problem. Get the first down, game's over.
Yeah, to me, you take the ball and you get Lamar on the edge, all 3 plays.
They did try that the one play, and he almost
on the final play, right? But you do that on all 3 plays.
Yep.
You're going to find a tight end coming across, or you're going to get a lane that he can run the ball up and in, provided he doesn't fumble it away, of course.
Yeah.
What else did you learn in week 1, Sean? Let's talk about week 1 in review real quick before we move on to Major League Baseball. Really nothing in my Major League Soccer that I like today, so we'll stay away from – there are some games there, but nothing that's worth your betting attention tonight. So what did you learn in week 1, Sean? What's the number one thing you learned?
Well, number one is the best teams are out west. The AFC West and the NFC West are undefeated. They're 8-0.
That doesn't mean anything.
The other thing is 3.5. About the 3 and 3.5 point underdogs. They were almost perfect this week. They were winning almost every game.
And covering and winning.
Yeah, and winning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I learned that the Cowboys still can't play defense, right? For sure. The Giants still can't play offense, for sure, right?
Daniel Jones didn't get any better.
Yes, I learned that for sure. I learned that the kid from the Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert, is going to probably be better in his second year than he was in his first year. One of the things I always tell my kids growing up, when they played sports, the great players find a way to win. The not so great players find a way to lose. Looks to me like this kid Herbert and the Chargers are going to find ways to win this year, because it was a game that they could have easily lost that they found a way to win. It looks to me like Tua Tagovailoa, whatever, he's a game manager. He's not an explosive quarterback. They're going to rely heavily on that defense. I think Matt Jones by the end of the year will be a much different quarterback than he is at the beginning of the year, but I thought he looked solid. Look out for that offense to start scoring points in the second half of the year. Perhaps you might be able to catch some nice lines with them later on in the year if they struggle early. I feel like the best team Baker Mayfield is still Baker Mayfield. I feel like the Saints, despite Jameis Winston's 5 touchdowns, they didn't really do a whole lot in offense. I feel like the Buffalo Bills could be in danger.
Well, see, that's what I was going to say too. Don't overreact too much to week one. Tennessee's not as bad as they looked. There's certain teams that are looked really bad this week that look out for week two.
But maybe there's some chemistry issues in Tennessee already.
I mean,
you almost never, ever in week one see a coach call out a star player like they called out Julio Jones.
Yeah, especially first came with a new team. I mean, that's unheard of and not usually.
It is unheard of.
Yeah.
And it was a play that was like in the first half and the game was still in the balance. So that's something they could have overcome. So I think there might be something to me that's a comment it's not specifically, although it was specifically about that play. To me, that's a comment that is intended to kind of, there's a cultural thing in the locker room where perhaps maybe they're not, as a group, aren't paying attention to the details or maybe aren't team focused. And that was, I think, a comment at not just at Julio, but at everybody to get your bleep together. No more stupidity. Play the game the right way.
Yeah. I mean, there's some teams like Tennessee and Buffalo. They didn't look like they should have. They'll probably turn it around. There are other teams like Atlanta. They looked horrible, and I don't expect them. I expect them to be pretty bad all year. So just you got to pick and choose what you take from week one because some of it will completely change and we'll forget about it by the end of the year because they'll turn it around. So just
maybe San Francisco's defense is not that good. I mean, Detroit, I don't care if it's the first game or the 17th game. You shouldn't be getting up 33 points to Detroit, right?
Yeah, I turned that game off and completely forgot about it. And then all of a sudden, Detroit's within 8, and I got to turn it back to just hope that San Fran holds on there. I mean,
There's no way Andy Dalton could be the starting quarterback for more than another week.
No, but he actually, I mean, I was surprised Chicago moved the ball up and down the field there for a while against the Rams defense.
Yeah, but how many, he boneheaded turnovers. He had interceptions, fumbles. You can't win. I mean, even if you're Lamar Jackson, you can't win like that. You can outplay a team and then you just give up points because you give the ball up.
The other stat I came across and I'll have to go back to it, but Teddy Bridgewater as a starter is just a covering machine. So with Denver this year, it is crazy. I will bring it up once I find it here. In his career against the spread, he's 36-14 in his career, 22-3 on the road.
Well, just bet Teddy.
Yeah.
And Teddy we trust, baby.
24-7 as an underdog. He's the best against the spread record in the NFL since 2014.
No, so go Teddy. So now that you put that out there, you just gave him the Jim Nantz curse. He's going to kick the ball off the field goal post for the rest of the year. It's going to be the worst quarterback to cover. All right, so that wraps up week one. We'll see what kind of lessons we learn in week two. One other lesson. I mean, Carson Wentz, come on, dude. You were on the verge of an MVP. Get your confidence back. Start being more aggressive with the ball down the field. What's with all these 2 or 3 yard passes? I hate that. I hate looking pass complete minus 2 yards. What the hell kind of football is that? A pass for minus 2 yards? That's not football. That's like rugby or something where they pass the ball
that's
backwards.
When teams aren't scoring and you look and their quarterback's 25 for 30 and you're like, how is this team not moving the ball? And how is there not incompletions? Because we're in 3rd and long. You're either you should be completing it for a first down or throwing an incomplete pass. It's some remarkable play calling.
I agree wholeheartedly. All right, let's get off of football. That's over. What's done is done. Let's move on to baseball, to Major League Baseball today. Sean, we have a pretty full slate of games today. We'll start with the Cincinnati Reds visiting the Pittsburgh Pirates.
So I like Cincinnati here. Pittsburgh is dreadful versus lefties. Cincinnati's the better team anyway. They got the better pitcher going, Wade Miley. And I'm seeing
it's not that much difference, my friend. According to the advanced metrics, they're pretty much a push.
No, Wade Miley's the more accomplished pitcher and the pitcher I would trust more here. And I'm seeing like minus 160. I'm sure you can get a little bit better than that.
You got like minus 156 is about the best you can do for that spot.
Yeah, so I'm taking the Reds here. I'm also finding out this is about, you say about your range about what, minus 165
165,
Yeah, about those teams are the teams that usually win too. You get higher than that, you get these underdogs that end up beating them. You get about even, you can pick the wrong one. These teams that seem to be in that minus 140 to minus 160 range typically win.
Right. Well, that's kind of why I put that as my number, Sean. I went back and I looked at all the different games that I've played throughout the years and found that once you cross that threshold, you tend to have one, you're not getting the value because once you start losing those games, because of the VIG, right? Because minus 157, you're only going to collect about 60 cents on the dollar or something like that. So once you cross that range, it becomes an unprofitable endeavor if you lose 1 or 2 games. So, and you're going to lose. So that's why I actually came up with that number. But anyway, most of the money is on the Reds. Like 82% of the money is on the Reds. A little more than that in terms of tickets. So there are some people fishing around on the Pirates. I agree that the Reds have the run line advantage. They have the power ranking advantage. They have all the advantages. They should win this game probably about a little bit more than 60% of the time. So the implied probability is spot on. So there's no value in taking Cincinnati. It's the right line for the game tonight. It just, to me, I don't feel like the pitching matchup is as strong as I would like to have been at my threshold. I would like to have a little bit stronger advantage.
Pittsburgh's 13-32 versus lefties, and the Reds are 19-16 versus lefties too. So you have that really playing in your favor too.
I agree. I think the Reds win this game. It's just not a risk that I wanted to take today because, like I said, I feel like the pitching matchup is not as strong in Cincinnati's favor as it might look on paper. Milwaukee and Detroit. This is a game where Milwaukee probably should go in and win, but you have Peralta versus Peralta. Which Peralta do you like, Sean?
I don't know as far as which team. I mean, you got the Tigers at home, so I would rather have Freddie Peralta, but Willie Peralta's not been bad. But I'm going to take the under here because of the pitching matchup. You can get 9, and with the Brewers bullpen, you're not giving much runs up after Freddie Peralta, so I think this total should stay under 9.
Yeah, it seems like a good total. Under 9, minus 103. So that's a pretty good. No, minus on the underside. I'm sorry. So on the underside, the best you can get, Sean, is minus 113.
I also Googled today to see if these guys were brothers or not, but they are not. I don't think they're any relation at all.
No relation at all. So the Milwaukee squad should win this game. They have all the advantages across the board in terms of what they bring to the table: offense, defense, their ability to win. But Detroit is a little bit different team at home than they are on the road. Although more than 80% of the folks are backing the Brewers in this spot. And if you look at the total, Sean, let's bring up the total numbers. It doesn't want to work for me right now. This is not always how that works, right? The computer wants to do its own thing. Okay, on the total, it looks like the majority of the money right now on the total is, it's 50-50, Sean. It looks like a little bit slightly favoring the over, actually, like by a penny or two. So it's a tough one, I guess. People are unsure about which way to go. I kind of think you're right that it probably should be a lower scoring game, but maybe they're worried that the Milwaukee squad gets 6 or 7 runs.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Chicago versus Philadelphia in your neck of the woods, Sean. The Phillies are a prohibitive favorite, minus 206. My Cubbies, you can get as much as 183. The lowest you can get for the Phillies is minus 195.
Yeah, this is a total pass for me, although I'd be wary of taking the Phillies here. Kyle Gibson has not pitched like the Phillies thought he would when they acquired him. And this Cubs pitcher's okay, and Adrian Sampson here. I wouldn't touch it, but if you're going to touch it, I would look for the value with the Cubs.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch the Cubs in this spot either, even at plus 175. There is a little value in here, but the way that they're trying to entice you to take the Cubs and the way they're trying to persuade you away from Philadelphia really lets you know that the folks in Vegas, the line setters, believe that Philadelphia is going to win this game, and they're really going to make you pay for it, and they should win this game. Although the Cubs have played a lot better of late, they're just not the same team on the road as they are at home. Most of that win streak came against lesser teams too, like the Pittsburgh Pirates. And again, most of it happened here in Chicago. So I would lean, maybe throw the Phillies in one of those big parlays where you're looking for a squad that can go ahead and more than likely win and just give you a nice little boost. Next game.
I think there's enough other games that you could leave the Phillies off that I wouldn't trust the Phillies with Kyle Gibson pitching at this point.
Yeah, I don't just trust the Phillies, period. Miami and Washington, Sean. Miami you can get a plus line with Miami of up to 130, and you can go as low as 137, negative 137 on Washington. Luzardo versus Fetty.
So speaking of not trusting, with all the matchups that I do like in this, I looked at the pitching matchup, I looked at the two teams and went, there's no way I'm playing anything here. This is not a game to play.
Did you look at the pitching matchup for real? Because
Luzardo
has faced the Nationals one time. It happened to be in Washington. 4.2 innings pitched. He gave up 10 hits, 5 runs, just got shellacked. And on the other side, I know Fetty's been kind of a run-of-the-mill average pitcher for sure, but he hasn't been run-of-the-mill or average when he squared up against Miami. He's got 12 and a third innings pitched, 10 hits, and only 2 runs. So he's been far superior of the two against the opponent. I feel like, and then here too, you have Washington has a pretty sizable run differential advantage in terms of what they're able to produce at home and what Miami's able to produce on the road, Sean. I actually think this game, for me, is one of the, I don't want to put the word out there, but to me, this game is it offers the best value for a favorite tonight. And it looks like the public agrees with me because, well, not the public, but the money, because the tickets are split 50-50, but 3/4 of the money is on the Nationals. So I'm going to add to that total. I'm going to put 20 on the Nationals at -137 to win.
So 2 things. One, Luzardo pitched pretty good his last start, so maybe he turns it around a little bit. And then also Washington's not good against lefties. They're 16-28. So that'd be a concern too.
Yeah, Milwaukee's no good, but they did face Luzardo once before. Like I said, and he's lefty, and they pounded him. So maybe matchups make fights, and maybe Washington sees the pitches well out of his hand. Maybe he tips his pitches, and only Washington knows. I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and take Washington. They have all the advantages. I feel like at -137, I'm getting more than fair value. They should win this game. I would think if they played this game -137, you're talking about roughly a implied probability of about 57%. I feel like they should win this game. If they played 100 times, they would win more than 57 against this particular Miami squad, especially at home. New York Yankees and the Baltimore Orioles. This is a game that I'm actually going to put into a 3-team parlay, Sean, and because I don't see this game being close with Garrett Cole on the mound.
No, it shouldn't be, but my concern would be the Yankees are really struggling. I know they came back and beat Minnesota yesterday, but we got like -350 and stuff. It's just crazy. And I know that's the pitching matchup. That's the team. Just the way the Yankees are playing, I wouldn't trust it.
Yeah, the Yankees are going to win this game, Sean.
They should.
I don't have any. If they play this game 100 times, the Yankees
they should win at 98. Yep, exactly. We've thought the same number. It's just the way they're struggling. I couldn't take it with these odds.
Yeah, I'm going to take it. Tampa Bay versus Toronto. This is a game that I wanted to take Toronto in, but the pitching matchup actually favors Tampa. Has a little bit better pitcher according to the advanced metrics. Actually, quite a bit better pitcher. So I was thinking about possibly taking the Tampa side, but then I see that the run differential is heavily in favor of Toronto. So if I were going to take a side, I would take Tampa Bay, but I'm not going to take anything because to me, neither bet is right.
Yeah, so this is my outside looking in game. This is the last one. This is one, and if I wanted to add another game, I would take Toronto. But there was some things, like you said, with the pitcher with Tampa, and I just didn't want to throw another game in there, so I passed on it.
Yeah, as far as the public is concerned, most of the money is on Toronto too, over 75 cents on the dollar. St. Louis versus the New York Mets. Another game where the majority of the money favors the home team. The tickets are split exactly 50-50. I have a hard time backing either one of these squads in this spot. The St. Louis team, it doesn't score as many runs on the road as the Mets, the poor performing Mets offense does. But sometimes that Mets offense is so bad that you only need to score 1 or 2 to win. And I can't back the Mets at -180 with that anemic offense.
Yeah, this might be one of your plays where you can go into, it might be the wrong bet, but the right bet would be the Cardinals here with this value. I didn't play it, but there is value here with the Cardinals, I would say.
Well, according to the implied probability of the Cardinals to win this game is about 39%. And according to the simulator, they have closer to a 49% chance to win. So there is absolutely value in the St. Louis squad in this spot, but I don't trust them on the road either. I was looking at Atlanta because Atlanta -147. It's as much as -260 at some books, it looks like, but that's got to be just a crazy print there, or they're taking too much money on Atlanta and they're just scaring you off. But you can get as low as -148 on the Braves against Colorado. But the pitching matchup here between John Gray and Touki Toussaint is just a huge advantage to Colorado. Not that Colorado's going to win this game, because I don't think that they probably are going to win this game, but I feel like they have a good shot to win this game, because I think Tukey could get touched up a little bit and put Atlanta behind from the jump, and then you're going to be in a spot where you have to come back.
Yeah, and if Colorado was better value here, I could take Colorado, but the plus 130 with Colorado's offense as bad as it is on the road, I couldn't do it. But I could do what you're going to do, and that's just stay away from the game, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from this game too. I feel like that Colorado can't get to Tukey, and I'm not going to. I had them circled as a game because they have a huge run line differential. I mean, they're a much better team at home in scoring runs than Colorado is on the road. But then I looked at Tukey's numbers and I was like, oh, no, thank you. And apparently it doesn't bother more than 75% of the money, because the majority of the money is on Atlanta, and it should be. I mean, it's two different teams going. One's going to the playoffs and one's going on vacation. Cleveland and Minnesota. Sean, what do you like here?
So Minnesota is not good against lefties. So I really like Cleveland here. I'd like to see what the result of the first game was and see if Minnesota wins. But right now they're tied 1-1. I had the under in that. I should have put that out on my website. I just played it in my personal account. But I like Cleveland here in the pitching matchup, and Cleveland's better against lefties than Minnesota is. So I am going to take Cleveland with the plus value.
So you can get plus 112 for Cleveland in this game. 7-inning games scare me, Sean, because you can get one up. The pitching matchups I don't think are as important, because you get 3 or 4 innings out of the pitcher, he starts to struggle, you can yank him because you know the game's going to be over in 7 innings. So I just kind of stayed away from that game. But it looks like the majority of the money is backing the Minnesota side. So you're on the you're betting against the money, so to speak.
Yeah, Minnesota's 15-33 versus lefties, and Cleveland it doesn't bother at all because they're 27-28, which is they're about a 500 club, so that's about right. So I really like Cleveland here.
Houston versus Texas, Sean. Last night we were right about Houston. Their bats seem to be warming up. The Rangers they're another team that's kind of mailing it in for the end of the season, though they can score some runs at times. The Houston squad is not in my 3-team parlay, but they were one that I was thinking about putting in.
So I'm going to do them as part of the one of 2-team parlay. I don't see any way they lose. And as a matter of fact, I was mad last night. You know, you try to get all the picks in with the NFL, baseball. To get Houston minus like 7.5, I think was like plus 600 or something. And they won by like 13 runs. It was great value because we both said.
Who's going to do minus 7.5? Come on.
Well, we both said Houston was going to crush Texas.
By 7.5, though? I mean, no one's in baseball going to give up a touchdown and a hook.
You could put $10 on it and you would have got like $80, $90 back. I would have done it. I got caught up with other bets.
No, you wouldn't have.
I would have. I swear to you.
Well, that explains a lot. All right. Anyway, that's a game that I'm going to stay away from, although it looks like the majority of the bettors aren't going to stay away from it because Houston's collecting a lot of money. I can't even Zach Greinke, he's a much better pitcher. You might even think about putting him in the parlay. I didn't because I feel like I can get better value elsewhere. Oakland and Kansas City, Sean. This is one where I was thinking about taking Oakland, but at the line in minus 179, minus 162. I can get minus 162. That number is enticing to me, Sean, because Oakland does absolutely have, when I was looking at it, it was outside of my range. So it looks like it's starting to come back into the range a little bit. I feel like Oakland will win this game. So this is going to be another play for me because the line moved into a playable number for me. So I'm going to go Oakland. I'm going to take them for 20 minus 162, Sean.
Okay, so I have them as well. They're the better team. Frankie Montas versus Jackson Kowar, not even close. The only difference was I was going to give up the 1.5 here.
Hey, you want to give up the 1.5? Go ahead and give up the 1.5. I'm not going to do that too much anymore this year because I've paid the price too many times on that. But minus 1.5, Sean, you're getting minus 1.0. That was the opener, and it's gone to minus 1. Minus 105 is the best number you can get. That's pretty close to. I mean, if it was 100, then I would think about it. But at minus 167, I don't need to worry about it. Or 162. What did I say it is?
Minus 162.
Yeah, so I don't have to worry about it at minus 162. So I'll just take them at minus 162.
Okay.
Los Angeles Angels coming to Chicago to face Lucas Giolito and the Chicago White Sox. Game number 2 in my 3-team plus parlay.
Okay, so they're not listing on MLB now. They're not listing Giolito as the pitcher, but if he is the pitcher versus Patrick Knowlton, who's been decent for the Angels in his few starts, I like the under here, under 9.
Under 9.
Be a low-scoring game. Angels
So
on the road.
You're going to do. So you're going to do under 9.
Yes.
So under 9 is minus 107. I don't know. The White Sox hammer left-handed pitching. Yeah, I see Giolito listed in a couple different places.
Yeah, and he was listed before, but I don't know why they
maybe they took him off. I don't know. But maybe if they take him off, then that line's likely to come down. I still think the White Sox win this game, even if Giolito's not pitching. So then if he's not pitching, I would expect the plus 137 that I got in my account to go up. But nonetheless, the White Sox do have a major run line advantage against them. The Vegas is making you pay through the nose for the White Sox, saying that they have basically a 75% chance to win this game. It might even be higher than that, but I'm going to go ahead and put them in the second team in my 3-team parlay, Sean. San Diego, Jake Arrieta. This line doesn't make any sense to me at all. It seems to me like San Francisco with Jake Arrieta on the mound should be one of those minus 250 teams, but they're not. What's going on?
Well, why was it a 50-50 game yesterday when it's clearly not? San Diego's going one direction, San Fran's going the other. San Diego's, what they scored last night, 1 run. 2 out of the 5 games before that, they've been shut out. San Fran scored at least like 6 runs in quite a few games in a row. I'm taking San Fran here, and I'm going the run line. You're getting a positive line, giving up a 1.5.
So San Francisco run line at minus 1.5, Sean, you are getting the best I can get for you is plus 115.
Okay. Yep. That's what I had written down.
Yeah. San Francisco does have, a pretty sizable run line advantage. You're right. The two teams are playing differently. As far as the current form right now, I mean, it's not even close. San Diego is not playing well. San Francisco is. I agree with you. I think they probably do win this game by more than 1.5 runs, by 2 runs or more. I mean, I think they could be up 3 or 4-0 by the time they get out of the first inning with Arrieta on the mound.
Yeah, I mean, Arrieta did pitch a little bit better his last start or two. He's getting a little bit better, but this checks all the boxes, right? Like yesterday did, and now this line's a little bit more, San Fran heavy, but still, I'd give up.
It's still a scary line to me because I feel like this line should be a lot more than minus 1. That's almost like they're suckering you to take the.
Checks all the boxes. I mean, San Fran's the better team. They got the better pitching matchup by far. They're the better team in form. It's just.
So why is the line so light?
I don't know.
Yeah,
why was the line? I said yesterday.
Why are they daring you to bet San Francisco?
I said yesterday San Fran was my best bet, and they won easily. Usually, when I say that's my best bet, you run the other way, but.
Fast too.
Yeah.
Like Usain Bolt, that fast. Arizona and LA Dodgers. That's the 3rd team in my parlay. The Dodgers win this game too with Tony Gonsolin on the mound. And the Yankees, the White Sox, and the Dodgers playing against 3 of the worst teams in baseball, really, right? Because the Baltimore is one of the worst teams in baseball, except for the Angels. Certainly Arizona is one of the worst teams in baseball, and I feel like the White Sox have a big advantage. I think those 3 teams win, and together they play at plus 137, Sean. So I'm going to put 20 on that.
So I'm doing the parlay that I ended up doing yesterday that you pointed out. You still get a plus 104. Take the Dodgers and take Houston together.
You know what was crazy about that too, Sean? In my DraftKings account, every Monday, if you do DraftKings, they give you you get a 50% bonus for the week on any bet. And I did not know you could use them in the parlay. So it said, the bonus was available. So I got I think it was plus 104, 103, something like that we talked about yesterday. So I took the bonus too. So I ended up getting like plus 153 for that. Wow. And that was
easiest money you ever made.
Well, it seemed like it, beforehand, you never know. But, when it was over, it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
So hopefully tonight works out the same way. One last game, Boston and Seattle. I wanted to take Seattle yesterday. I want to take Seattle today, and I just can't do it. I know that Eovaldi has gotten hit, but he still ranks out to be a far superior pitcher to Anderson, and I still feel like Seattle's the team to play here, this plus line, because they do have the power ranking advantage. They do have a better run differential at home than Boston does on the road. It's a 50-50 game. I feel like maybe slightly favoring Boston, but not enough to account for minus 143, where I get plus 126 for Seattle. I want to take them, but I'm not because I have enough action out there tonight.
Yeah, I was the same way. When I looked at the pitching matchup, I saw Eovaldi. I was like, oh, maybe I can take Seattle. Then I saw Anderson going for Seattle, and I can't back him with Anderson going. So
I want to take him. If honestly, if not for the rough 2 weeks there, if it weren't for college football, if it weren't for college, if college football had started, I probably would have taken Seattle tonight because. But I have to make up for that. These college football killing me, doing good in baseball, college football murdering me, and off to a 4-2 start in the first week in NFL. Overall on the year 6-2 with my NFL plays, but college football, that's a whole nother story. It's like they threw me over the boat with an anchor tied to my ankle.
Yeah. So Eric's asking your absolute favorite 2 to 3 ML plays of today, and do Yankees cover minus a run and a half?
I think the Yankees cover minus 1.5, Sean. And I also think that, as you mentioned, I think maybe you do the minus 7.5, Sean.
Yeah, well,
yeah, but I think the Yankees do cover that line. Yeah, absolutely.
You could take the Yankees minus a run and a half. You could take San Fran minus a run and a half and throw the Dodgers and Houston just to win together. I could work that out and see what that pays. But, I mean, that sounds like a winner to me.
To me, I like just taking the Yankees, the White Sox, and the Dodgers. Like I mentioned, the Yankees and the Dodgers are playing 2 of the worst teams in baseball. And if you wanted to put Houston in because you don't trust the White Sox, Houston's playing another one of the worst teams in baseball. But I do like the White Sox at home. They should win this game. They're still competing for where they're going to have positioning in the Major League Baseball in terms of the playoff seeding. So I like that spot, Sean. I know winning 3 games out of 3 sometimes is difficult because there's usually a parlay burner in there. Hopefully none of them are parlay burners tonight. I also think Washington's a good play because they did, they knocked the snot out of Luzardo the last time they saw him. Doesn't mean they'll do it again, but styles do make fights. And then I'm going to go with Oakland because that line came to where I like it. What are you doing again, Sean?
So I got Cincinnati to beat Pittsburgh minus 156, Milwaukee, Detroit under 9, Cleveland to beat Minnesota in game 2 at plus 112, Oakland giving up a run and a half. Who's Oakland playing?
They're playing Kansas City.
And then Angels, White Sox under 9. San Fran giving up a run and a half to the Padres, and that would be my best bet again. And then Dodgers and Houston together, plus 104.
Jeez, you have a lot of money to spend.
Hopefully my streak here, I'm coming back a little bit. Hopefully this is another good day.
I hope it's another good day too for both of us, Sean.
I usually don't like this many baseball games, so.
I don't like that many either. So today I'm just going to go with teams that are playing for something against teams that aren't playing for anything. And if I can put a couple together and get a plus line, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I feel like it's 3 big disadvantages tonight, Sean. Tomorrow we'll be back. There are a couple MLS games. The only game today that I would kind of consider would be the Columbus Crew are playing at home against the New York Red Bulls today. They probably win that game, and you're getting plus 125 to take the Columbus Crew. But I do worry about the stupid soccer tie there. When I did one of the things I look for is projected scores. So I look for the 2 most common projected scores to be higher than the highest tie projection. So like the percentage of times. And it doesn't work out in that spot. But Columbus probably is the better team. They probably do win, but I'm not going to take it. Tomorrow we'll probably have more soccer plays to look at. Also, the PGA swings back into action this week after taking off. So we'll have some PGA players to look at once again, Sean. We'll put those rankings up. I did finally figure out a little bit too late how to get the Excel sheet to work right with the fantasy football. So we will have fantasy football rankings probably tomorrow too, Sean, or probably Thursday. I'll update the power rankings. As I mentioned, first week, just using the power rankings method, you would have gone 10-6. There's nothing wrong with being +4.
Yeah, not at all.
No, and you didn't have to think anything beyond which game it told you to take. So, all right, Sean, until we meet again in 23 hours and 30 minutes, what should folks want to do if they want to follow us?
You can go to Facebook and Twitter, Moneyline Madmen, and then YouTube, subscribe, Moneyline Madmen, and then we got the website too. You can put your picks out there or ask questions like Eric did on our favorite plays and stuff like that. And we can start talking college football and NFL.
I don't want to talk college football. Screw that. It's regional sport.
That's the one sport. I was 5-1 on Saturday, so Hey,
Yeah,
I'm ready to get back to Saturday.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. But there'll be a reversion. There'll be a revision to the mean, Sean. And unfortunately for my mean, it's way down there. So if I revise to my mean, it's just going to be just as bad. All right, Sean. We'll see you everybody tomorrow. Make sure you head on over to Moneyline Madman. Tell your friends about us. Until we catch up again tomorrow, folks. As always, I hope all your tickets are winners.